3 days since the lights went out. You're sitting in your kitchen. It's dark. You can hear boots on asphalt outside. Not one pair, three, maybe four. They're moving house to house. You hear a crash 2 doors down, glass shattering. A woman screams. Then nothing. The boots keep moving, closer. They pass your neighbor's place, the one with the generator humming on the porch, the one with the big American flag and the "Protected by Smith & Wesson" sign on the gate. They don't pass it, actually. They stop. You hear a door get kicked in, more screaming, and then your street goes quiet again. For now. Here's what just happened. Your neighbor did everything right. In theory. He had food, water, ammo, a generator, solar panels on the roof. He was ready for the end of the world. And it didn't matter, because every single person within a half-mile radius knew exactly how ready he was. He advertised it. He painted a target on his own forehead with a neon brush and called it preparedness. The people who survive what's coming aren't the ones with the most gear. They're the ones nobody knows about. The ones who vanish in plain sight. The ones burglars walk right past because there's nothing there worth taking. Or so it seems. And that's exactly what we're going to turn you into today. A ghost. Someone who's there, who's fed, who's warm, who's armed, but who, to the outside world, doesn't exist. We're going to cover how to make your home look like it's already been picked clean, how to kill every signal you're accidentally broadcasting right now, and, toward the end, I'll show you a technique borrowed from actual intelligence operatives that most preppers have never even heard of. It might be the most important 60 seconds in this entire video. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is burglar psychology. And not the kind from peacetime where some tweaker smashes a window for your TV. I'm talking about post-collapse looting, where organized groups go street by street systematically like an army clearing a town. Because that's exactly what they are. After Hurricane Katrina, property crime in affected areas didn't just tick up, it exploded. Over 50% increase. And that was with the National Guard still partially operational. Now imagine that with no guard, no police, no 911. Just you and whatever's between you and them. Here's what those groups look for. Signs of life, signs of resources, signs of resistance they can overwhelm. So your job is simple. Eliminate all three. Start with your home's exterior. I call this the dead house protocol. Your place needs to look like it's already been hit, like someone already kicked the door in, took what they wanted, and left. Scatter some junk on the front porch, an old broken chair, some torn trash bags. Leave a window cracked, not open, cracked, with a dirty curtain hanging half out. Spray some grime on the siding near the entrance if you can.
It sounds insane, and honestly, the first time I set this up as a test, my own wife thought we'd been robbed. But that's the point. A house that looks looted is a house that gets skipped. Period. Why would anyone waste time and risk on a place that's already been cleaned out? And here's the layer most people miss. The smell. After a few days without sanitation, every occupied house starts to smell like people, cooking food, sweat, waste. If a group walks past your door and catches the scent of beans cooking, you're done. Your dead house just came back to life. So you cook only at specific times, ideally pre-dawn, between 3 and 5 a.m., when movement outside is lowest. You seal your cooking area. You vent smoke and steam through indirect routes, not straight out a window facing the street. One guy I read about in a post-Balkan War memoir ran his cooking vent through a pipe into his chimney so it dispersed high and wide, invisible. Now let's talk about light discipline. This is where 90% of people blow their cover. One candle in a dark neighborhood is a lighthouse. I mean that literally. The human eye can detect a single candle flame from up to 1.7 miles away in darkness. 1.7 miles. You might as well be firing a flare. So you black out every window, trash bags, cardboard, heavy blankets, whatever you've got, and you never, ever use light in a room with an exterior wall unless it's completely sealed. Move your living space to an interior room, a bathroom with no windows, a hallway closet. Sounds miserable. It is, but miserable and alive beats comfortable and dead. Noise discipline is the twin brother of light discipline. Sound carries absurdly far when the ambient noise of civilization disappears. No traffic, no air conditioning hum, no planes overhead. In that silence, a conversation at normal volume can be heard from over 200 feet away. A generator might as well be a dinner bell. If you absolutely must run one, bury it in a sound-dampened enclosure, underground if possible, and only during high wind periods when background noise gives you cover. But honestly, I'd skip the generator entirely. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Let's shift gears, because disappearing isn't just about your house, it's about you. This is where the gray man principle comes in. It's a concept that originated in intelligence fieldwork, and it's deceptively simple. A gray man is someone who draws zero attention, not because they're hiding, because there's nothing about them that registers. They don't look threatening, they don't look wealthy, they don't look scared. They're just there. And then they're not, and you can't quite remember what they looked like. If you ever need to move through an area during a crisis, and you will, you dress down, way down. No tactical gear, no molly packs, no combat boots. You wear what everyone else is wearing. Dirty clothes, a dull jacket, a grocery bag instead of a backpack, because a backpack says, I have supplies, and a grocery bag says, I have nothing. You walk at the same pace as the crowd. You don't make eye contact, but you don't avoid it either, because both extremes draw attention. You're wallpaper, you're furniture, you're nobody. During the Bosnian War, a survival account from Sarajevo described how one man crossed through a contested zone carrying his entire week's food supply in a baby stroller with a doll on top. No one stopped him, no one searched the stroller, because who robs a man with a baby? The psychology is that simple and that powerful. Now here's the part that starts before the collapse, and this might sting a little, so brace yourself. Your biggest security threat right now isn't some future marauder. It's your mouth, and your social media, and your buddy at work you told about your 6-month food supply. Every single person who knows you're a prepper is a potential liability when things go sideways. Not because they're bad people, because desperate people do desperate things. That coworker you showed your gun collection to, he knows your address. That Instagram post of your new solar setup, geotagged. That Amazon delivery driver who's been bringing cases of freeze-dried food to your porch every week for 3 months, he's got a pretty clear picture of what's inside your house. The average person reveals their location about 26 times a day through digital pings alone. Phones, smartwatches, car GPS, Wi-Fi connections. Right now, that's just data for advertisers. In a collapse scenario, if any of that infrastructure is still partially running or gets seized, it's a map straight to your door. So start now. Compartmentalize. Buy preps with cash when you can. Vary your pickup locations. Don't tell people what you have. Tell them you're thinking about getting into preparedness. Keep it vague. Keep it boring. The most dangerous sentence in the English language for a prepper isn't a threat. It's, oh, you're one of those guys? You must have tons of stuff. Preparedness isn't a personality. It's a secret. Now, speaking of secrets, remember that intelligence technique I mentioned at the top? Here it is. It's called a staged cache, and it might save your life even if everything else fails. The concept is simple. You don't keep all your supplies in one location. You split them. Your main home has maybe 40% of your total resources. The rest is distributed across 2 or 3 hidden caches within a mile of your home. Buried, concealed, known only to you and maybe one trusted person. These caches contain 72-hour kits, food, water purification, a weapon, first aid, cash, copies of documents, PVC pipe, sealed at both ends with epoxy caps, buried 18 inches deep, last decades underground. Total cost per cache? Maybe $30 for the container. Why does this matter? Because if your home gets compromised, if someone does find you, if you have to abandon your position in the middle of the night with nothing but the clothes on your back, you're not starting from zero. You've got a fallback point. Then another one. Then another one. You're not a refugee. You're a ghost with supply lines. If you're watching this and you've got your own disappearing strategies, or you've actually lived through a situation where staying invisible kept you alive, drop that story in the comments. I'm genuinely serious. Those real-world accounts are worth more than any script I could write. Alright, hit that subscribe button, because the kind of knowledge in this video is the kind you don't get from mainstream channels, and you never know when you'll need exactly this. Let's talk about one more layer that almost nobody considers: your trash. In a grid-down scenario, if you're the only house on the block not putting out garbage, that's a signal. But if you're putting out garbage that includes food packaging when everyone else is starving, that's a worse signal. Everything that leaves your house is intelligence about your house. Burn what you can, bury what you can't. Treat your waste stream like classified material, because in a collapse, that's exactly what it is. And here's the science behind why all of this works so well. The human brain is wired for pattern recognition and anomaly detection. It's called the salience network, and it evolved to keep us alive. Your brain constantly, unconsciously scans the environment for anything that doesn't fit. Movement in stillness, light in darkness, sound in silence, a full face in a crowd of thin ones, a clean house on a dirty street. You can't turn it off. It's automatic. So when you eliminate every anomaly, when your house looks dead, when you make no sound, cast no light, emit no smell, walk like everyone else, dress like everyone else, carry what everyone else carries, you become neurologically invisible. The looter's brain literally filters you out. You're not a threat. You're not a target. You're not even a person. You're background noise. That's not just a survival strategy. That's evolution working in your favor for once. Now close your eyes for a second and go back to that street. 3 days in, the boots outside, the crashing glass. But this time, they walk past your house. They glance at the broken chair on the porch, the cracked window, the grime. They keep moving. Your home is dark, silent, dead. And inside, you're fed. You're warm. You're watching them through a gap in the blackout curtain they'll never notice. They move on. They hit the next street. You survive this night, and the next one, and the one after that. Not because you had the most guns or the biggest stockpile or the thickest walls, because you understood something most people learn too late. In a world gone dark, the ones who shine get taken. The ones who disappear get to live. Stay invisible. Stay alive. And if this video gave you even one idea you didn't have before, subscribe, because the next one might give you 10 more, and you're going to want them before you need them.